This is Pixel Papas, two sleep-deprived gamer dads hosting a podcast about mobile games marketing and AI, tackling UA challenges and diaper changes. Welcome and enjoy the show.
We have another guest on Pixel Papas, one of the brightest women from the mobile gaming industry. She's a pro at scaling empires and puzzles, making Match-3 heroes and dragons famous. Please welcome our friend Maria Vilko from Small Giant Games.
Wow, hello. Yeah, it's so official. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Hi,
enjoying
Maria.
doing that. Hi,
Thank
Maria.
you. Yeah, I was like, cool.
But
Happy
it's
to
great
have
to
you
have you
here.
here. Finally, somebody veteran in the industry, somebody we know personally, and somebody who can share what you can share with us. But it's gonna be amazing talking about the creatives with you
Just
here.
hope so. Hope so.
Let's
Definitely.
jump right into it, right? So,
Yeah.
gaming. What do you play? Do you play anything?
Yeah, I do. Like, I just recently finished Dragon Age. I play maybe like a couple of selected games a year on PlayStation. Then I also like try sometimes some new games on mobile. Obviously, I play our own game just to kind of like keep in touch with the community. But yeah, mostly on console, a couple of times a year, like. And then,
Is there anything
yeah,
you are looking forward to, like the game that will be released in a few months?
mm,
Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of
no,
Yotei, or something like
no, that's not my jam. But I'm actually kind of waiting for the new Witcher. Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be a while still, but
Yeah.
So more
it's
like RPG, action style story stuff,
yeah,
right?
definitely
Okay.
RPG, fantasy, adventure. Yeah, that's my
Did you play Elden
my
Ring?
cup of tea. Did not. No, I did
Okay.
see a couple of trailers. They were pretty cool, but no.
The story is amazing there. Like it's so deep and so complex. You should try it just for the story.
Yeah, maybe. Like I heard good things about it, but I think like during the same time, Baldur's Gate 3 came out, so kind of played that.
Yeah.
Loved
And what's
it.
the favorite game of all time?
I don't know. I mean, I remember liking Assassin's Creed 2, the whole like trilogy.
That's like 10
It's
years
been a while.
ago. Yeah. But it
Yeah.
still counts. It still counts.
Just left like an impression on me. So I guess like every time somebody asks me what's my favorite game, like there's been a lot of really good games after that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I want just to say about Elden Ring that it's a great game, great story, but you need to look for the story, right? It's not obvious. They don't tell you anything. You just found these papers, list of papers around the map that is just telling you the part of the story. And it's not so...
Actually, the whole story is written only in actually items. So every item you pick,
Yeah,
like
so-
sword or something, has a specific story written, like 1-2 sentences that like, then you need to somehow connect it. It's hard. That's why
Okay,
it's
so you-
hard and complex. You rather just watch the videos. There's this guy, Vati Vidya or something like that. I subscribe to him on YouTube, and he makes a great storylines explaining like hours and hours of content just for like one NPC that you maybe even skipped. There's like full story behind this NPC. It's crazy.
Yeah, and there's this new game, Kingdom Deliverance 2 from Czech studio, and it's pretty hyped out right now. So, do you guys do you have it in plan to play it?
Yeah, when I get time, which is in 18 years when my daughter will move out, maybe.
Yeah, Dawn, maybe you can play it together.
There's gonna be Kingdom Deliverance 5 maybe by the time with the VR or something like that with lightsabers.
We'll see. But you as a creative producer, Maria, let's go into professional talk now. Creatives, what makes a creative a great one in your opinion?
So many things. Obviously, like performance overall. So if the point is to bring like new users, so the more users you can get with one concept, the better.
All right. And is there like any specificity? Like, does it need to include gameplay, for example, in your opinion?
I think like including the actual gameplay is really good for retention because then you don't disappoint on the player, but still kind of making it more interesting because sometimes gameplay can be boring. So need some kind of like hooks, for example, for the intro, like to grab the attention. And the more you can tell some kind of like story with one video, it's more interesting to follow than just looking at the pieces moving around. Like, yeah, okay.
And when you are thinking about new creative, are you going like you mentioned hooks? So when you are creating something or some idea of the video, or when you are creating videos, because you are also motion designer, you are trying to look at the video, final video from different perspectives. So this needs to be at the beginning. This is the middle part. This is the ending. Do you look at these parts like differently? It needs to be something special about them, or it's about the whole video. So the whole video is like needs to be connected in that way, or it doesn't make sense at all.
Both. Yeah.
Okay.
I think about both ways. So like in the beginning, you need to kind of like grab attention, but it also has to be connected to the next part smoothly, so it doesn't feel like too abrupt. It's like trying to continue the story in the next scene and the scene after that. And you also kind of trying to think also further than the video, like when the player arrives to the store, for example, if they were interested in the video like to begin with, then there has to be some familiarity in your ASO as well. So kind of you're always trying to think through all of the stages, and video is just like the first one of them.
That makes sense. And do you have like a favorite creative of all time from the let's say mobile gaming?
Overall, that's I think too difficult. There's so many. There's so many. Like I was just like counting how many like videos we've been producing. It's yearly, like something around a couple of hundred, just the concepts. So not counting like different video formats, but just the concepts. Like, that's what we do in a year. And then I've been working at Small Giant for 6 years now. That's a lot of concepts. Yeah. Of course, some of them are like iteration of the best performers, but still can't remember them all. I have some favorites that we did like internally, and also some favorites that we created with the partner studios.
I actually checked the latest creatives. I guess they're latest because they include the dragon there. I think it's the most popular creative now. There is like this main character, Elena, saving the dragon. And it looks pretty cool. It's almost like a trailer at the beginning. It looks like high production. And I really love it. At least like from the creatives that I checked, they have like these different variations. Like one thing is for sure, like almost always show gameplay. But the second thing is like there are different hooks. You use UGCs, the guy jumping in the pool and whatnot. So I love that you are using like, and it's actually working because I see them all over the place. Different stuff obviously works. So you know what you're doing when you have different variations and all of them are performing.
Yeah, we do a lot of testing. So like we produce a lot, we test almost everything that we produce, and not all make it to live campaigns. But I think like testing as much as possible, different type of approaches. Just like just in case it works. You never know what you can find. So even like the wildest things, like if you can produce it for like if you can make it affordable, just do a lot of different stuff and kind of see what sticks and try to analyze it.
Yeah.
Why did it work? Like we always try to think when we see like top performer, KPIs are great, but like we also try to think like why this one? Why not the other one? And we try to compare, and usually it's like, bold colors, big characters, as little text as possible because people don't want to read. Or something like completely shocking. We haven't gone like, I think we've been pretty trying to remain like good taste in our creative, so we haven't gone to completely outrageous themes.
And you said that you are yearly, going through hundreds of concepts. And when we look at your creatives from some publicly available data, we see that they look different. Like one is 3D, one is not. Do you think that it is important for a game go out of their brand, meaning how their game look like in a real life in order to scale the game.
So again, like the most important thing for the ad is to bring users, right? And if it happens to bring users, if you use like 3D, but your game is actually not, I don't think it's that important to stick to the brand. If it's bringing you users, that's the main thing. Building brand in the modern world, I think it's pretty difficult. Like there's so much going on. There's a lot of similar games, and it's like it's difficult to stand out from the crowd if you're only trying to build the brand.
Yeah, it makes sense. And so difficult, right? And you work on a big game with strong legacy. There must be difficulties with like, continuously, you say like the most important is acquiring users. Like, how the hell are you still acquiring new users? Haven't you acquired everyone on the planet? Like, didn't everybody play the game already? How do you do that? And is that, I guess it's difficult.
Yeah, it's like, it's magic. I don't know. Like, I also think the same thing, like every year you have to come up with something new, because if you keep on only like doing whatever everyone else is doing, like copying ads, which we see like a lot. Of course, you should do that just in case, it works. But on the other hand, you should also try to come up with new ideas, because then you're the first one. And that usually brings like the best success if you manage to find that recipe for the ad that just works, and then everyone else is trying to copy you. It has happened for us a couple of times, and which you can, I think of it as like a success. It's a bit of a bummer, but then again, it means like you're doing something that everyone else was also want to do.
Yeah, but do you need to run a lot of retargeting, right, or remarketing campaigns, and even the ads targeted specifically for players who have churned already and you want them to return? So my question is, do you have specific ads or something like that for returning users?
Yeah, we do that from time to time.
Okay, yeah. It makes sense because, again, like such a big game for so many years, like there are many people on the planet, but I suppose almost everybody kind of heard about Empires and Puzzle.
Yeah, I still would say that like completely new users is the area what we're trying to grow every year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and when you are trying to get basically what we have done in the past, that you are trying to get all the players, to come back to the game, there are specific creatives, right? So usually what we are trying to do, and I think the whole market is doing, that you are trying to create some emotional connection with the players. So like, come back to the game, your city is burning, and you are trying to do that. And it worked the best, actually, when you do this.
Yeah.
So it's fun how those creatives look totally different from the classic new concepts. You're trying to attract new users. So the message here is the most important thing, to make them remember your people are suffering, man.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do about that?
Old users, like, it's they know how the game looks, at what it's about. Like, they don't need to see like exaggerated version of it.
What's the biggest difference in your opinions having such a big game, like between Western and Eastern market, at least from like creative perspective? Is there something specific that you think everybody should think of when thinking about?
People need to understand what they're getting into. But what I'm saying is, like, I wouldn't try to localize, like to make it look like it's not made in Europe.
Yeah, like I think they would recognize, right? It's something because they grew up with the creatives of videos. They know exactly what they should look like, and when someone else is trying to copy that style, you can smell it. You can smell it from a long distance. You just see the ad and you're like, okay, something is off.
Yeah, it's really difficult to do it well.
Yeah. So just say that you are a Western studio, run your ad, just localize it. So headlines and buttons, so people understand what they are supposed to do. Just click on it. So this is the bare minimum which you should do. But yeah, I think it's very complicated for these Western market studios to break through on the Asian market because they are trying to look like it is supposed to.
And there's just so many games.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's hard to stand out.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And regarding Empires and Puzzles, so you had a very big update in a few months back about dragons and creating like this like new environment in the game. So your strategy maybe changed how to scale the game actually, because there is like really big new amount of stuff that player can experience in the game, right? So building the dragon city, it's a new environment for the player. So did your UA strategy change as well, or it is more about like we are doing what was working but just changing little things?
We are trying to, like, every year we try to do something new. We have like campaigns and strategy that's like business as usual, but every time we try to find some new way approaching. And yeah, like launching a big update, I think it's more important for like existing players because they are the ones who are like waiting for it. And yeah, for the new users, of course, we ran some campaigns and it looked pretty nice. And yeah, no, you mean who doesn't like dragons, right?
Yeah.
We mentioned hooks, right? So what about like what's the best hooks? Do you even test them, or do you just go with the what's trending now? What works the best for you?
Hooks, like everyone is talking about hooks like it's something new, but I think it's always been there. It's like for everything, especially like when we're like marketing on the internet, where like, you know, attention span is like non-existent. A couple of few seconds are like important. It's always been that way. And yeah, we have tried different kind of intros, came up with some conclusions like what works, what kind of color schemes, what kind of backgrounds, like heroes, no heroes. And yeah, we're still testing, like now we're testing some UGC approaches like 3D intros, cinematic stuff, different kind of close-ups on heroes or puzzle pieces or so. Yeah, like just test everything is my opinion. Like, and after that you can iterate on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be hard to listen to this for smaller, studios that don't have budget. Like, test everything. They're like, but I have $100. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what do you tell these creatives, like creative teams, even
like
maybe even
pick
developers? Just pick one, just random.
Yeah. Well, I think like you can still do some research, like what's trending at the moment, and then try to that. And if it works, then you can try to come up with your own approach that is more like specific to your game or theme of the game.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't blindly just shoot for random concept.
Yeah. And yeah, sometimes you think that something is supposed to work, like based on all the information like you have like acquired over the years, and then it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And you're like, what happened? I don't know.
That's the worst thing in marketing, right? Like you expect something to work, you love it, you think like, okay, this is and you try to think this is not subjective. No, this is based on data, my learnings over the years. Then you test it and it's like complete shit.
Yeah, it always like it comes as a surprise, but most of the time it works really well. But then like 10% of the time it comes as complete surprise. Like, with what? But this worked last time. Why is it not working anymore?
Do you try to break down also the stuff that doesn't work, or you focus on what works?
Yeah, we do. So basically, if something didn't work, usually it's like if you have a really short creative, it's easier to pinpoint what did not work with it because there's like less content. But yeah, we also done a couple of times like this creative hospital kind of thing where we tried to take the concepts that didn't work, tried to figure out with the creative team internally like why they didn't work, and then tried to fix them and then retested them. And
That sounds
That
like
was like
Creative
really
Hospital
fun.
is amazing name.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We
that
fix
was a
your
really
creatives.
good exercise.
Yeah, and regarding this creative process you have at Small Giant, so this creative hospital sounds great. So who is the part of it? Because some of the studios, they have only creative teams deal with creatives. Only, I don't know, these two guys are doing creatives, and others shouldn't say a thing. So who is involved in all of this?
Well, we work really closely with campaign and analytics team. So that's kind of like we have a couple of creative producers who work with external partners. So it's me and my colleague. And then we also have a couple of motion designers who do creatives internally, and then a graphic designer who does like banners and stuff like that. So yeah,
And
that's pretty much.
are also the motion designers, for example, the ones that comes with ideas, we should do it like this, or it's just they just listen what you say, what they should do?
Everyone is involved. Yes, it's like it's pretty open atmosphere. Like everyone, we have like these brainstorms. I think every month or so, where everyone is like gathered in one place, and then we pick a theme. Like for example, well, let's discuss about what's happening in the UGC field today, and then we brainstorm around that, and everyone can participate. And then we also take a look at some data, some like reports that what's trending. And every time we try to pick up something that's trending, but also something that we think that might be like a wild card, like something completely new.
This is from what we hear from successful studios, actually, that this is the answer, that everyone participates and everyone cares, because we are talking about proactivity, how you need to be not proactive, just active in your role. So when you are a motion designer, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have opinion on ideation and creation of the idea. And every time we speak with someone that this game is growing, it's scaling, it's looking good, they say us the same thing, that we work together, that everyone is involved. So this is very important to grow mobile marketing business at all. So it's great to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's not like rocket science. Everyone understands like visual aspect of creatives, for example, and you never know who might have like brightest idea. Sometimes like when you say it out loud, somebody might get a better idea after that, and so on and so on. Like just how the brainstorm should work.
Yeah, it's like influence and snowball, basically, effect.
Yeah, and then we all are consumers as well. So sometimes like I might not think about something that my colleague likes, and yeah.
How do you stay creative?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. We try to maintain like a good work-life balance. I think that's really important, like to just take care of yourself overall, like sleep enough, eat well, exercise, maybe, get some air, just the pretty basic things. And sometimes you need to do absolutely nothing that is related to creative thinking.
Yes.
I can't be on computer at home, like when I finish work, like I don't do anything that involves like a screen. Well, TV, obviously, Netflix. but yeah, kind of. I've noticed that not doing, trying to figure out some creative problems helps a lot.
Yeah. So just take rest.
Yeah, and then that, and I don't know, like everything that interests you in general can become like an idea. Creative.
Cool. Deep.
Yeah.
Deep. Let's finish it with this deep thought. Like, I think like this is the best. What's the opposite of hook? Is this gonna be like end screen hook? I don't know.
Outro.
Out hook.
Out hook. Just created something, Milan.
Yes. Awesome. Like this was great. Maria, you're awesome. You did great. We love talking to you here. We hope to have you here once again.
Yes.
With adjusted topics. Amazing talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you,
Hope to
guys.
see you later.
Yeah, we should definitely meet. So thank you for listening, everyone, on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts. We are Pixel Papas, and we will be here next week as well. Have a good one. Bye.